Hello, my name is Adedoyin Jaiyesimi and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want to share with you my experience on my journey to becoming, drum rolls, a strategic communications management professional. It's been one of my professional development goals to actually get a certification. So if you watch my video on professional association and certifications, I had said that, there are two that I was considering: the SCMP, which is by the IABC, or the CIPR diploma. And I decided to start with the SCMP, and I finally did the exam and I passed it. Glory be to God, amen. So I'm really just going to share that experience with you. And for those of you who are considering doing the exam, I hope that this video encourages you to do it and that you will find the tips and lessons that I would share useful. If you do not know, the SCMP is a certification from the GCCC, that's the Global Communication Certification Council, which is an IABC initiative. And I got to know about it because I am a member of the IABC, but it's not limited to IABC members. A non-member can also take the exam. It's just, I think, in terms of the application fee, you actually pay more. So I'll talk more about the application fees as this video goes along. So yeah, it's an initiative from the IABC, and there are two actually. So there's the CMP and then there's the SCMP. So for the CMP, that's for professionals that have about 6 years of professional experience, while the SCMP you need 11. So because I didn't do the CMP, I'm going to talk about the SCMP, which I did. However, if you go on the website, and I'm going to put the links to the relevant websites so that you can get more information about either the CMP or the SCMP if you're ready to kickstart that journey. So anyway, like I said, I did the SCMP, and for the SCMP, you need to have 11 years of professional experience. You need to have what they call 20 hours of training. And this is really important in the application process. And I'm always talking about professional development, how you're upskilling yourself. It actually counts towards your SCMP application. So if you've not done any sort of training, if you want to do this exam, you have to demonstrate that you've committed 20 hours of training. Thankfully, between the end of last year and this year, I did like full day trainings, paid trainings, full day trainings, half day training. There was even a training that was over 2 days, and that took care of the 20 hours. Now, all the trainings that you need to demonstrate the 20 hours don't have to be paid trainings, by the way, but you need to be able to show that you've done training, you've attended webinars. I will also share some links to some LinkedIn live sessions that were helpful during the application process. Okay, so since this is me sharing my journey to becoming certified, why did I even want to become certified in the first place? So after I did my master's degree and I graduated in 2021, I decided to take a break from educational pursuits because adult education, I always say, is not for the faint-hearted. However, from like the end of 2022, I started to say to myself, okay, Adedoyin, what's next? Because my desire is to be the absolute best I can be in my profession, in my career, which means that I have to be the top of my game. I have to be reading. So I knew that what was next for me was to get professional certification. And so I was doing my research. Now, I know about the CIPR diploma. I've lectured on the program. I've, supported people that have taken the diploma, and I know how rigorous it is. And honestly, I was like, are you ready to commit 1 year of this rigor? As at 2022, I wasn't so sure. However, by the end of last year, I knew that I definitely at least wanted to start. And then, being a member of the IABC, you learn about the certification, the SCMP, the importance of getting certified, and a number of people in the West African interest group had actually taken the exam. So I said, you know what? This sounds relatively straightforward. It's a 3-hour exam. You do it one day, get it over with. So I said, okay, I can commit to this. So let me do the SCMP as a starting point, and then proceed to other areas or other things that I want to do in terms of certification. And for me, the greatest motivating factor really is just making sure that I am top class or top of the game in what I do, right? It's good to know that you are operating at the highest levels of your field or profession. So you have law, for example, where you go to law school, maybe accounting, you have the ACCA, these professional qualifications, they just tell you that this person knows what they're doing, they're certified, they're qualified. Look, your reputation, there's so many benefits. And for me, another thing was the knowledge that I was going to gain, because it's not possible to know it all. So I knew that I would gain the extra knowledge, and then just the improvement in terms of professional reputation and credibility. That was really important for me. So moving from deciding that, yes, Adedoyin, you're going to do this, it's actually applying for the exam. Now, this year, I think I started the application process in January, or I committed to the application process in January. Now the exam, there's an application fee of $50, and the exam, because I'm an IABC member, it's $250. I was going to spend about $300, and I saw someone share in the West African Interest Group something called Gift of Excellence, and if you apply and you get it, you would, get a scholarship towards doing the exam. And I said, Adedoyin, you got to do this, because those of you in Nigeria, you know how it is. The naira to the dollar is just, so I thought to myself, hey, let me go for it. I have nothing to do. So I put in the application for the Gift of Excellence grants. It was a long application. They had to answer some questions. I answered them to the best of my ability. I think there were questions about why I wanted to take the certification, what the certification would do for me in terms of my career as just a professional. I did that. If I submitted before, like maybe a few hours before the deadline, and then I needed, I think, one or two references, if I'm not wrong, and then I had to wait for the results of that. And thankfully, I think just in time for Easter, thereabouts, I got the email that I got the grant. Yay me! I was so excited, because $300 knocked off. It's a big deal. So with that, I could proceed to actually go and apply for the SCMP. Now, the application process for the SCMP is relatively smooth. Once you get on the portal, you put in your work experience. You have to put in a contact for everywhere that you have worked, because they actually verify. So it's a straightforward process, but you have to give it time. And like I said earlier, I will share there was a LinkedIn live that was done by some of the members of the IABC on how to apply. That was very, very useful. That they literally broke it down, what information you need to provide, what you need to demonstrate. So that made it really, really easy, because I just kept referring to the video and the slides from that session. So I was able to do that, put in that information, and then you need to have a referee. I was able to get some people to write. Again, the reference is people that maybe you've done pro bono work for, or someone you've mentored, just really attributing or attesting to the fact that, yeah, you are a committed professional, that you're committed to this profession, and speak about your expertise and the kind of way you work. And then you have to demonstrate the training hours. So like I said to you before, I had done 3 long training programs or paid training. So I done like the CIPR training earlier this year, which was a full day. I had done one with Shola Abulu and Associates, which was also a full day. That was last year. And I also had done like a 2-day thing. So by the time I added everything, it was 20 hours. And I was so happy, because I was like, how do I go and get the lists of webinars? Because that's during the LinkedIn live session. They showed us like some people you put like, attended this webinar 1 hour. And it's not that you just write that you attended the webinar. There needs to be proof. So for all of those trainings, for example, I had like the certificates that they give and all. So that was that. And yeah, I submitted my application, and then I had to wait. Like I said to you, you have to put like references for everywhere that you've worked, and you have to alert the people. So I kind of reached out to people, say, hey, I've just applied for this, I put you as my reference for this organization where I worked. And they went through each referee, they reached out to them via email. I don't know if they called some people, but I know some people received emails because they gave me that feedback. And then when I got the email that my application had been approved, it was now time to fix the exam dates. Now, the SCMP, there are two options. You can actually do it in person, but if you're in Nigeria, and I think the only place they do it in person is in South Africa, from what I had seen. If you're not in South Africa, for those of us that are in other countries across the continent, the remote option is like the most feasible, and that's what I went for. So I went on the portal, same portal where you used to apply. That's where you book your dates, and I booked the date for June, booked the time, and then that was it. I was good to go in terms of registering and getting a date for the exam. In terms of preparing for the exam, so I started preparing for the exam actually since January. Once I knew that I was going to take the exam, I started preparing. One of the things that you need for your preparation is the IABC guide. See, even if you don't write the SCMP, please buy this book. Now, I got it from Amazon, and I really do hope that the IABC can make it available locally in the different countries, because it is such a valuable and enriching book. Like, I didn't read it because or only because I had to write this exam. Like, I read it for the knowledge that I was supposed to, or I wanted to gain from the book, and it covered a lot of things. It covered your role as a trusted advisor within an organization, culture, crisis communication, CSR, marketing communications, public relations. It was really wide. There were so many things that I was like, oh wow, I didn't know this. Oh, this is interesting. I can adopt this. I can try this. So this is me recommending that book. Whether or not you're deciding to write the SCMP, it is a valuable resource, but it's one of the resources that you would need for this exam. So I bought the book in December, and I started reading it from the beginning of the year, trying to do one chapter per week. Honestly, it was really a stretch for me because this year has been super busy for me, but I committed to it. And then I attended any LinkedIn live sessions or Zoom sessions that I found that the IABC was doing on certification. I made sure I attended. There was one that I attended where other resources were shared in terms of like podcasts, PDF files, just different things to help you. I didn't read through all of it, but at least I had access to it. So the IABC is really supportive in terms of just giving you the resources you need to prepare, and then obviously listening to TA, that's Tubosun Afolayan, Shola Abulu, who had already taken the exam, just listening to their experiences. I knew that it was something that I'll be able to do. So, I mean, I've never really struggled with exams, so I wasn't really nervous about it, but that was really my prep, reading the IABC guide, looking at the resources, attending the LinkedIn lives and webinars on certification, just making sure that I have all the information that I needed. So my exam date was on June 14, and I think I finished reading the IABC guide like 2 days before that, because like I said, the year has been super busy. So some days I will only be able to read 3 pages of the book. Some days I will do 2 chapters, but I did. On the day of the exam, I logged into the portal. There's like a proctoring. Actually, before the exam, you have to test your system, test your internet, make sure you do all of that. And then on the day you sign in, there's someone there on the other side of the screen, because you share your screen, turn on your webcam. There's somebody on the other side that will scan your room. So you actually have to do it in an enclosed room. So you cannot do it in your living room, and nobody can be there. Your door needs to be closed. If there's a window, the window needs to be closed. And then they actually scan the room with your webcam. You can't have phones, books, clutter, all of those things. You cannot have it in your room. So once we've done all the checks, they had scanned, they'd done everything, it was time to do the exam. It was 100 multiple choice questions in 3 hours. Now, I said before that I didn't really struggle with exams, but I don't particularly enjoy doing exams that are MCQs, because the nature of MCQs are, there is one answer that is obviously wrong. There is one answer that is wrong, but if you don't know that it's wrong, yeah, well, so there's two that you can easily knock out. But the remaining two, one is the correct answer, and the other one mirrors the correct answer that you have to be thinking. And so I don't really like MCQ. So this exam, it was not tough. Like, when you do an exam that you say this exam was hard. Well, for me, let me just say from my perspective, right? It wasn't like tough, but sometimes I'm just looking, I was like, A looks like the answer, but this B is also looking tempting. So I had to read the question to make sure that I'm not missing any information so that I'll pick the right answer. Then there were questions that I felt like it was set for America, because I was like, I don't have context for this question as an African professional. So I just picked whatever. Obviously, I cannot really tell you what the question was. But yeah, there were only like maybe 2 of those kind of questions. But generally, if you've been practicing communications, like I said, SCMP, you need to have 11 years. If you've been practicing for the last 11 years, you've been committed to your professional development, you've actually been practicing comms, you're not just winging it, you're actually, you know the principles and all, you shouldn't struggle with this exam. So yeah, it went by really quickly. I didn't spend all the 3 hours. I think I was done in about 2 hours and a few minutes, because what I did was, I think I finished just about, I can't remember when I finished, but I went through all of the questions again. And one thing I liked about the exam was it allowed you to flag certain questions. So those questions where I wasn't sure about the answer, I would pick what I thought was the answer, but I'll flag it. And then at the end, I went through them to look and say, is this really the best answer? And then, I finished it. And as I always do with all exams, I committed it into the hands of the Lord. In fact, I prayed, I said, Holy Spirit, you have to help your girl here. Help me to choose the right answer. Help me to answer well. But it was pretty much straightforward from there. And then once you do you complete the exam, you get your results in 72 hours. You get an email saying that you have successfully completed, or you've been successful with the exam, and you get the certification or the title SCMP. So that really was my journey to getting certified. I'm glad that I've done it. It is exciting. I think for me, just looking back, what I'm really happy about is the fact that I've gained new knowledge. Honestly, the prep, the things that I was exposed to, just the different webinars, the book, the IABC book, it's really, really, really good. So I would encourage you to take the exam, find time to do it. Honestly, it was not convenient for me in terms of time. When I decided to pick the date, I chose June. In the middle of doing a lot, I just knew that it was the perfect time for me to do it, because things are only just going to get busier, and then before you know it, it's the end of the year, and I didn't want that to happen. So please go for it. I can just share with you some tips that can help you. I think number 1 is your commitment and your intentionality. I think we've definitely reached a stage in our journey and in really articulating the value of what we do as comms professionals, for us to really be intentional about being our A game and getting certified, a global certification. It's a good idea. So just be intentional about it. There won't always be a perfect time. Knowing how we work around the clock as comms professionals, there won't always be a perfect time. So have it as one of your goals. You can still do it in 2024. Just go for it and practice. Make sure you get the resources, get the book. The book is really, really great. Like I said, I bought mine from Amazon. So practice with that. And then, give yourself time to work on your application. So what I like doing when I'm applying for things, I open the portal and I see, okay, what are they asking of me? How many words do I need to write? And I needed to do that especially for the Gift of Excellence grant. I think they do that once a year. So if, for example, maybe you don't have the money for the application fee next year, I guess you can also apply for the Gift of Excellence grant. I think, though, it's limited to IABC members. So if you're not an IABC member, I don't know. So you may just decide to join the IABC before then. But give yourself time to complete your application. if you have not been committed to training and you don't have the training hours, start working on it, because you don't want to now ginger yourself to apply, then you now apply and realize, oh, I don't have training hours. So please work on that. Give yourself, if you don't have the training hours, you need to give yourself a good 1 to 2 months so that you build up it's 20 hours in total. So you build that up and then you do your application. And yeah, prepare for it. Don't overthink. I don't like overthinking exams. I really just think, look, I will prepare, I will give it my best shot, and I just trust that God will help and favor me. That's has been my approach to exams right from when I was in secondary school. So don't overthink it. Prepare, learn, and it's not even one of those things. You know how sometimes you're reading to pass an exam? The way I approach this is I'm studying, I'm taking this exam to be a better professional. So you're not trying to cram, you're trying to learn, you're trying to become better at what you do best, right? And then give it your best shot. Yeah, just give it your best shot. So I hope that you found this very, very useful. If you still have more questions about getting certified, or you'd like to know more about the CMP or the SCMP, as always, please feel free to drop a comment in the chat section, or you can reach out to me via email, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever platform works for you, and I'll be happy to take your questions. If somebody is saying, Adedoyin, what's next for you? Honestly, it's becoming a chartered PR professional, and that's going to be like a 1-year goal. So wish me luck with that. All right. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next video. Bye.